Deployment is one of the most stressful time in the life of a developer. There are so many checks to make sure all goes well, and even after that, sometimes shit happens. And yes, I am speaking from my personal experience. In this video, we will discuss how to convert this stressful process into a piece of cake. Let's get started. Hello there. I am Mohammed Samgan Khan, a fellow software engineer in learning. And today we are going to discuss how to deploy a Laravel application using deployer. But before that, if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe and hit that like button. Here I have created a setup with Laravel 11 and pushed some commits to Git. Also, my host and DNS are already configured to host my application at deployer.msamgan.com. To get started with deployer, first we install deployer using Compose. To use deployer, we will use deployer CLI. The executable binary can be located in vendor bin. I have already added it to shell RC as an alias dep. Once the package is installed, we initiate the deployer by dep init. Deployer will ask you a few questions, and after finishing, you will have a deployer.php or deployer.yaml. This is deployment recipe. It contains host, task, and other required steps for deployment. I personally prefer .php. If we check deploy.php, we can see require recipe Laravel. It is the base recipe for deployer for Laravel. Set repository sets the repository where you set the path of the repo. Add shared file, add shared directory, and add writable directory. As the name suggests, these are the files and directories which will be shared between all the releases. By default, deployer Laravel recipe considers .env file and storage directory as the shared resource. Now we will add host. The host is where the site is to be deployed. I already have configured my host. Setting up a host for deployment is beyond the scope of this video. We will discuss that in some other video. Deployer Laravel recipe comes with all the basic tasks for Laravel deployment, but we can add some of our own tasks to it. Say we want to optimize with the help of PHP Artisan Optimize. Or we can set a build script with npm install and npm run build, which would be run after symlink and update code respectively. Once all the tasks are in place, and be careful, these tasks run in sequence, so you have to be careful about dependencies. You cannot run PHP Artisan before Composer install. To deploy, we run dep deploy. And by the way, you can directly log in into your SSH with deployer too, with dep SSH. Once deployed, the directory structure will look something like this: current, release, and shared. Shared will contain all our shared data in case of Laravel.env and storage directory. Releases will contain all your previous releases, and current will contain your current release. After first deployment, we have to create .env in the shared directory. As I mentioned, Another important thing we have to do after first deployment is to change the root from /public to /current public, as the latest release always is in current directory. And we are all set. Now to deploy, all you have to do is commit your code and execute the deploy command. You have to update the .env every time you add or remove a key into it. This is Mohammed Samgan Khan, a fellow software engineer in Learning, signing off.